Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. Before we get started, just want to make a mention. We do have merch available at atlamerch.com. This one's selling fast, so if you want to get it, jump in there. So we're about to jump into this. I love it. This guy came in from Arizona. They left at 2:30 in the morning this morning. So let's bring Joe in. Dude, thank you for doing this. The first thing that stood out to me on this was I was like, God, you know, paint and body's just sick. We got to really showcase the beauty of this paint and body.
Yeah. I chased this car for years because it was rock stock. 307, you pop the hood.
Really?
Everything was there. Like everything was there. All the stickers. 2-owner car, father and son. I have the original purchase paperwork. I have the Protecto plate. I have all the stuff. I have a cash check from day one.
Wow.
Like, it's just kind of cool. So I wanted the car. A guy in Phoenix beat me to it. Bought the car, stripped it down to restore it, and then the subframe was gone. A bunch of parts were missing. So I picked the car up for $3,800 for a shell.
Hey, and you were mentioning off camera, so in your garage, you're doing work on other people's stuff. You're doing wiring, exhaust.
Like, this car has all stainless steel fuel lines. I do stainless steel fuel lines, aluminum fuel lines for them, hard lines.
Nice. So the 307, that was now gone, and the trans, like everything was gone.
Yep. When I first looked at it, like, you pop the hood, Delco Remy stickers were still on it, everything was there.
Well, let's pop the hood and look up. I know some of what you've done here, but yeah, simple, clean.
Yeah, so it's a 6.2 L92 from an Escalade, and I just pulled it apart, went through it, put a new set of rings in them, gapped them for some boost, because originally it was going to be twin turboed, but the intake I wanted to run wouldn't clear the flat hood, so that's how I ended up with the LSA.
Yeah.
Made 557 and 600 torque to the tire on 91 pump gas.
And you were saying like you're geared to where, what'd you say, a 350?
Yeah, 350 gear with the T56 Magnum, the short ratio. So it's like 2,100 RPM, 2,000 RPM, 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, but I'm sure when you want, you can spin tire.
Yeah, at 90, it still moves around.
Nasty, man. I mean, I bring this up, I don't even know if this will stay in the video, but I bring it up regularly because, like, we just put out a video yesterday. A guy did a beautiful 63 Lincoln, garage built too, but beautiful. I mean, stunning car. Puts an LS in it. Half of the comments are, it's so bizarre to me how people lose their mind about LSs. And I'm like, the way I look at it, my personal opinion is, you're not into hot rodding. You pretend like you're into hot rodding. The reason I say that is, like, I grew up in a world of hot rods where my dad has a 40 Ford that runs a small block 350 in it, because for years that was the go-to engine. The LS just replaced it.
That's what it is. This is the new small block Chevy. It is what it is.
And I get it. It's like, well, look, I don't have unlimited budget. I've got a budget I'm working with. I can go buy one out of a friggin' junkyard, do some basic rebuild to it, and I've got a great motor that's gonna make, I mean, a bone stock one, you're gonna pull 500 out.
Well, and you say budget, like, that was the goal of this car, was to have what I have, and I set a number of $50,000. That's what I spent.
You talk about it like it's not much money, but let's be honest.
But in today's build world, it's not.
Well, no, it's not. You're right. It's definitely not.
Now,
I mean, I know people that have more than that just into the engine alone.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID,
though, I mean, I was looking at ZL1s, I was looking at Hellcats, and I was like, and actually my buddy Kent was like, dude, you don't want a plastic car. He's like, I know you. And so that's how this came about.
And have you done everything on this yourself?
Everything except for a buddy of mine welded the rear brackets on the rear end for me because my TIG welder was messing up. And then I had just had another friend just do the alignment. But besides that, everything.
Everything.
So
what have you done suspension-wise since the subframe was gone on the car?
So I picked up another subframe. We went and found one from a 69 Camaro. So
oh, really?
Same subframe, yeah. It's all Ride Tech suspension. Ride Tech 4-link out back. Their front suspension with their true turn and a Borgeson box out front.
Nice.
And then it's Wilwood 6-piston fronts, 4-piston rear, 12.8 inch with the aluminum hat rotor.
Manual brake.
Manual brakes.
Love it.
Yeah, it stops really well.
Looks like you got a meaty back tire.
315/30 in the back. I mini tub the car. It's got Detroit Speed mini tubs in the back too.
You went all in on it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already heard it with me and the guys. Josh over here likes cars pretty and painted, which I do too. I think that's really good. I think it's great. Kyle and I both agree. Take something like this all day long, because I'm gonna go beat the hell out of it, just bang on that thing. But you're not worried about it, you know? You're not worried about it.
Everybody's like, oh, this thing's straight. And I'm like, it's really not. If you look at it, every single panel on this car has a whiskey dent somewhere on it, but it adds the character of the car. And
so it was vinyl.
It was vinyl. The plan is to put another one on. Like I said, I just burned through that budget, so I'm just building up more money, and I keep buying other stuff, like most car guys do. So.
By the way, 9-inch. See, now that one, Nobody has a problem with putting a Ford 9-inch in a Chevy. Everyone's good with that, you know?
One of my past cars, people used to lose their mind. I had a 91 Mustang GT, one owner car, 65,000 miles, and I cut it up and put a turbo LS in it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy. How dare you?
People were so upset by it.
You know you're going to hell, so
Yeah, I don't
you know,
care.
whatever. What's the wheel sizes on the car?
So it's 18 by 9.5 out front with a 265, and then 18 by 11 out back. And they're actually circuit performance wheels. They're the cheapest part on the car. They're for an 0304 Cobra.
Curious exhaust on this. I'm sure it probably makes noise when you're in it, but it's a quiet car.
So it's full 3-inch from the headers back, X-pipe, built the X-pipe, everything on it, and then goes up and over the axle, around the 4-link, out the back, and then dumps out behind the rear tires.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's cherry bomb salute mufflers, so you'll hear it when you get
When you're putting your foot in it, huh?
Yeah, it's
I love the look of the car, dude. I really do.
You know, we got the typical moisture pockets where the drain hole is always plugged up on these cars, in the fender and then the back of the quarters. So what I'll do with that is just, I'll buy patch panels, I'll patch them back in, and then I'll just blend the paint back to a factory rough looking paint, and we'll call it good.
And you're leaving it, patinaing it all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I catch some flack with some people, you know, mostly the older crowd. They're like, paint that thing. I'm like, absolutely not. I love it.
I love how there's still like, you know, chunks of the vinyl.
Yeah, it's like, I just
remaining.
gotta leave it, man. It's just, well, if you look back here too, so the car's obviously not an SS, right? But one of my buddies like, dude, you gotta fix that. I'm like, absolutely not.
What's the fan here?
That's the heat exchanger for the water to air setup. You know, a water box in the trunk. So our fuse panels back there.
Talk about that for a second. You guys, I think you'll be interested in this. Some of you guys that do your own work or sub out work and it have wiring issues.
You know, I worked 14 years in the Volkswagen world. I was a tech, service advisor, drive manager, that stuff. But all newer cars, all the main powers are all fused. Like everything's protected at the source so that if something rubs through, you're not gonna lose the car because you didn't put a $10 fuse setup in it, you know, $20 fuse setup, whatever they are. So that's my opinion on it. They should always be fused. There's no reason not to. I fuse them at the alternator and then as well at the back. You know, if your battery's out back, that way either end goes bad, it takes it out so it can't destroy anything. The fuel pump too, right? You don't see anything exposed. It's a Tanks Inc. injection tank that I modified and we dropped down 2 450 liter per hour pumps down in it. So first pump is on all the time, second pump comes on at 25% throttle, you know, tucked away. I didn't want a pump hanging down. I did want to do the heat exchanger hanging down though. I had to do that. I needed something mechanical hanging out of the back of the car.
Kind of cool though. I mean, as soon as you stand back here, it makes you go, what is that? All right, let's see what's up in here.
We are a work in progress in here, but we have a 12.3 inch touchscreen dash and a regulator singing to me.
I love it. The Holly dash is so you've got a fair amount of Holly stuff going on here.
Yeah, well, it's just Terminator X, really. Yeah. It's got, you know, flex fuel sensor down underneath. I'm still working on the tune to get that sorted. I'll be able to switch from 91 to, we have like mostly E54 in Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it still works out to like 100 octane, so it's still, you can throw more timing at it and do what you want, but.
This is pretty, this center console you did here. Is that custom? You build that yourself?
So that's actually the SpeedTech firewall kit.
Oh, okay.
And SpeedTech hump to clear the T56.
Yeah.
And I've just been trying to decide what exactly I want to do. The ECU's right there, fan relays right there, main power bus coming in. So that's where it picks up all the power for the dash, the AC, everything picks up right there.
And you were saying at some point you do plan to do interior.
Yeah.
I tell you what, dude, sitting here though, man, just sitting sideways like that, I was like, you're set up to drive. Like, I love that you're not reaching out here for the steering wheel.
Yeah, I centered the seat. I did the adapter because it would bring the steering wheel back to you. You know, the aftermarket, I don't know if you've sat in one of these cars that had aftermarket buckets and aftermarket brackets in them. Like, they're horrible. Your head sits way up super high. So I made the brackets. I actually had them sitting down lower, but the problem was it shifted you or you were just off center from the steering wheel and it didn't like it. So
this is a total, I can tell from right here, this is a total driver car.
Yeah. You stab the gas point, the wheel goes where you tell it to. Like no hesitation.
Well, hell, let's go take it out. If it sits that well, it's got to drive that well. So let's go drive it.
By all means, let's do it.
We're gonna go for a drive. God, dude, this car, boy, there's so many things right away that stand out to me. I told you the ergonomics immediately.
That's a big thing to me. I needed to be centered on the steering wheel. I want it to be nice and easy to reach. Like,
I want bend in my arm. I don't want to. I don't like
Yep.
straight arming. You just have such a lack of control. But boy, you can tell right away just from a couple seconds of driving the way the suspension's set. It's stiff for sure, but
yeah. Throw it into
you
a
are
turn and it
making
does
almost
it.
600 horsepower at the tires. Wow, this is cool. I love the steering on it's nice. It's super, you can tell how responsive it is, but it's not darty.
Yeah,
you know?
She tracks a little bit, but I feel like you're gonna get that with this big of a tire on this kind of a car.
I think so, but it's not bad at all. I've driven some cars that are just all over the road. Great sound too, you're right. It's not as quiet as I thought. For some reason, I must have been standing quite a ways away when you pulled in.
Yeah.
Because the second you started, I was like, oh, it's not that quiet. And then you can tell it's like, as soon as you start to dig, it's there. I legitimately have experienced a lot of cars that they don't inspire confidence to get in and just go drive, you know? Like this thing right away, I'm going, oh, maybe we take a detour and go up into the canyons.
I mean, that's what it was put together for. I love the torque. It's like just...
I mean, you know, I'm barely touching it, but I can feel it. This is the horsepower range I personally absolutely love. Because you're probably, I gotta guess this car is maybe ballpark 3,000 pounds.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think she's probably gonna end up like between 32 and 34 with all dressed out eventually, you know, so it's in the low 3,000s range.
She's such a great power range, cause, you know, and I know how it is. You get used to your power, so you can always use more.
Yeah.
But then I also, just me personally, I think you get to a point where you start to overpower the car, and now
Then
it's
it's just
not as
not
much
fun.
Yeah, it's not as much fun. You're managing your throttle input too much.
Yeah.
What am I at? I'm at $3 grand. I mean, there's so much torque available, dude. The car's badass, brother.
It's almost 80 already, just now.
I mean, right now. and I hit 4,000 RPM.
Yeah.
God dang, this car just makes you want to drive, bro. Well done. I know I've said it a couple times, dude, but you fucking build something like this because you like to drive cars. You want the sounds and the smells, and you can't deny the torque range, the vibrations it makes, the sounds that it makes. Having to fucking grab a shifter and, you know, like, yeah.
The manual brakes, the steering's power, but it's got a tough feedback to it.
And by the way, really well done on the manual brakes. You know about proper ratio, valving, all that stuff.
Pedal ratios for sure.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I'm not having to grab for a ton of brake. I mean, I actually started to forget that it was a manual brake car until you just said that. I never nitpick a car unless it's really good. And then you find the little things so far on your car driving it, the only thing that stood out to me was, I wish the gas pedal was up a little higher so I could blip under braking. Everything else, your braking's amazing, the power's right, the gearing, thank God you were smart enough to go with a taller gear and, you know, and let the car, I mean, hell, you're making the torque, right?
Yeah.
Well done, man. Dude, you just got me all jacked up. Holy shit, man.
You don't have to saw at it, you just correct her a little bit and she does.
Boy, does that come on. Dude. dude, the suspension's pretty well dialed in, huh?
It is. Like I question going with the 4-link because everybody's going torque arm or, you know, and
Sure.
right now, if somebody smacks the front end of this car, I can go pick up another stock subframe and put it back together.
Exactly.
This is like kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie.
557 is all she makes, man.
Hey, that's insane to think about that. That's all you need to like actually get scared. Holy shit! Holy shit! Dude, it was spinning and gripping at the same time. It like stayed straight and kept going. That is so fun. Holy shit. That was crazy.
That, in my opinion, is a perfect car, you guys. And the reason I say that is it does every single thing right. The power's great, the weight's great, the way it steers, the suspension. That's a dialed in driver's car. Perfection, in my opinion. So now you know what I consider perfection to be. By the way, speaking of perfection, we got new merch. So if you haven't gone over to the store yet, atlamerch.com, this stuff's selling pretty quickly. And as always, you guys, a massive thanks for hanging and watching what we do, and a big happy new year to you. I wish you a blessed 2025. See you in the next one, you guys. Later.